Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. B'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach. Welcome to our Tuesday class. Today we're going to speak about Parashat Shavua and about men and women and the differences between men and women and how it's connected to the Parasha of the week. Anyone was in my Hebrew class yesterday? No? Good. Yeah. It was very good. Yeah, it was pretty packed. But
next week.
But a lot of the ideas, the reason I'm saying it is a lot of the ideas that I said there yesterday, I'm going to also repeat today. That's why, okay, it's good. B'ezrat Hashem. So, B'ezrat Hashem, there is a big question in Parashat Shavua that bothered me for a long time. And this year I found an answer, an interesting answer, in the interpretation of the Ben Ish Chai. Ben Ish Chai was the rabbi of Baghdad, Iraq. He passed away around 125-30 years ago. He was a big righteous man, very with big knowledge in all sections of Torah, especially in Kabbalah. And I am personally very connected to him. Since I just revealed Judaism, I was very connected to his way, very mystical, very Kabbalistic. You will see that we will speak a lot from his books. And he has a very interesting interpretation on a big question that I'm going to address this question in a moment. And this question will lead us to the topic that I want to speak about today, which is men and women and the differences between them, and how to get along with that. Okay? It's a big question. Now, you would think that this class, it's only for married people, but it's not. It's actually better for people that are not married to hear this class. So they prepare. B'ezrat Hashem. So let's start with the Parsha. Okay? Let's start with insight from the last Parsha and this Parsha together, which is going to be an introduction for them. So, for those who are not familiar with the story in those Parashot, we're talking about Avraham and Sarah. Very nice couple, first Jewish couple. Avraham and Sarah, they loved each other very much. They had a very, we can say even a perfect marriage. Now, in a perfect marriage, you also have fights. That means that it's a perfect marriage. That sometimes you argue. We're not robots, we are people, and we're not angels. We have arguments, and it's normal. Even Avraham and Sarah had arguments, and even the Torah tells us about their arguments. For example, the argument about Ishmael, the son that was born from the
maidservant.
From the maidservant Hagar. After a lot of years that Sarah didn't have children, she comes with a very interesting idea, which I'm sure that any lady would not do this. But she said to Abraham, listen, I cannot get pregnant, get my maidservant and marry to her so you can have children. And if you will have a child with her, maybe it will open my luck to also have a child. Now there's something mystical here. If she will get pregnant, how does it connect it to you getting pregnant? Logically, it's very hard to understand. But spiritually, one of the reasons she said that is because she knows that prayer can flip everything. Now, there is prayer and there is prayer. People pray, Hashem, give me money, give me this, give me that. It's a nice prayer. And maybe it's also going to be answered. But a prayer that you pray when it's painful, when you really feel the pain, someone is running after you, chase you for money because you owe them money, and then you pray with tears, it's a completely different type of prayer. A lady that didn't have for years a child. It's very painful. Sarah saying, yes, I prayed, I didn't have children, it's very painful for me, but I think that I am kind of okay with that already. I have the best husband, I have the best life, everything is so nice. And yes, I do want children, but I feel that I don't suffer enough without children, so maybe my prayers are not with intention enough. So what does she do? She makes herself suffer even more. She tells the servant, get married to my husband, which is going to make her even more jealous. And she will have a child, which is going to make her in a lot more pain, because she sees a child in the house and it's not hers. And then it's going to maybe make her pray with more intention. That's one of the reasons they say she came up with this idea. Okay? I'm sure any lady in our generation would not do that. And maybe it's because, okay, again, it's a different generation, but also Sarah was taking prayer very seriously. She understood the power of prayer, which, by the way, Mashiach, when he's going to come, one of the first lessons he's going to teach us is the power of prayer. Something that today we don't give it importance. Today we think that a physical effort will help a lot more than a prayer, right? Me going to work, it's going to give me money. Me praying, I don't think it's going to give me money, right? But the truth is that praying is more powerful and will give you more money than going to work. That's the truth. Mashiach will teach us how is that true and how does it work and why our prayers today are not achieving those levels, because we don't believe in the prayer. One of the conditions for prayer to work is that you believe that prayer works. And the more you believe in the prayer, like you believe in work, the prayer will work better. Problem that most people don't have that faith to believe in the prayer so much. And that's why our prayer doesn't work. But this is another deep topic. But Sarah understood that this is what she wants. Okay. Then a whole problem started when Ishmael was born. Ishmael was doing bad things. Until today he does it. And he was, the Rashi say that he was trying to kill Yitzchak. After that, Sarah, Baruch Hashem, got a child, and everything was good. And Ishmael was trying to kill Yitzchak. Now, before Yitzchak was born, and even before Ishmael was born, when Hagar was pregnant, Hagar started to act with arrogance towards Sarah, saying that I am more righteous than you because God gave me a child and you not, means my prayers are better than yours. I am more righteous, I'm more tzadikah. And she started to say everybody and spread bad things about Sarah, and she is her basically boss. Sarah was very angry, and she told Avraham, how can you be silent? You have to do something. Avraham didn't do much from the beginning, and she was very, very mad at him. She even told him, Chamasi alecha, I'm mad at you. Ishpot Adonai beni ubenecha. May God judge you for this. And our sages say that because she asked that, she died before him. Because there is a rule, when you ask God to judge someone, to punish someone else, Hashem says, okay, I'm going to do it to you and then to him. Don't ask God to punish people. It's not a good idea. Hashem doesn't like it. So, you see that even Sarah and Abraham had hard moments. And that's fine. Now, later, we see in the Parashat that after Ishmael was born, He was 12 years old. Sarah was 89. Abraham was 99. God comes to Sarah because she was a prophet. And he's talking to her and telling her, Sarah, do you know? Next year, you're going to have a child. Now, the way he says that, I'll say it in Hebrew and I'll try to translate. He says to Sarah that in this moment, next year, you will be hugging a child. The reaction of Sarah is a very weird reaction. She is laughing. That's why one of the simple reasons they called Yitzchak from the word tzchok, which is laugh, because that was her first reaction to the good news. And then she says the following sentence. God telling her, I will renew you, and you will become young again, and you will have a child. She's 89. Now she listened to what God says, and she's laughing. And she's saying, Achare baloti hayta li adna va'adoni zaken, means after me losing the ability of every woman to give birth, she was already very old. I don't have the system anymore. So now I'm gonna be young again, and my husband is old. My husband is an old man, that's what she said. Now, when she said that, I'm gonna be young, she laughed, and my husband is gonna be old. After saying all this, God comes to Abraham. And he tells Abraham, Lama ze tzachaka Sarah? Why did Sarah laugh? Ve'omra ha'af omnam eled va'ani zakanti. And she said to me, how come I'm going to give birth? I am old. Now, did you realize something different here? She said, my husband is old. When God approached Abraham, he says, she said she's old. Why is she saying she's old and she can't? God cannot. I can do anything. We see here that God lies. She didn't say that she didn't say that she's old. She says my husband is old. And when God says to Abraham, he says to Abraham, she said that she is old, she cannot have children. Our sages say that we learn from it a big lesson for life, that even though the Torah says we're not allowed to lie, and it's a sin to lie, it says midvar sheker tirchak, it's one of the commandments in the Torah, there is a situation that you're allowed to change a little bit. For example, shalom bayit, to have peace at home. If God would tell Abraham, she said that you are an old man, he could get offended. How come my wife is calling me an old man? That's not nice. Imagine a husband comes to the house and says, you old. How would you feel? Or the wife comes to the, you older man. Lo yafeh, this is offending. This is God saying, if I'm going to say to Abraham, she said that you are old, he may get offended. This can make a little bit of maybe an argument. God says, okay, here I'm changing. You're allowed to change to avoid arguments. This shows us how important is peace, especially peace at home. That even something so important, God says, one of the most important things in life is truth. When God created the whole world, 7 days, in the 7th day, we read it every Shabbat. What do we say? How does it end? Asher bara Elohim La'asot. Look at the acronym of it. The last letters. Bara is Aleph, right? The last letter of the word. Elokim is Mem. La'asot is Taf. It comes to Emet. Emet is truth. God ended the signature, the stamp of creation is Emet. Means this is the most important for me. But I'm telling you that you can change the truth for peace. It means peace, it's even more important. Okay, so this is just one thing that we learn, how important is Shalom Bayit, and we're going to speak about it today. Now let's go to the big question that I wanted to address and to answer. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. Amen. The question is simple. Sarah was a very righteous lady. In fact, she was more righteous than Abraham. That's what our sages say. They say that she was a bigger prophet. She was more righteous. Such a righteous person, such a good person, example of all the nation. Their lady, Sarah Imenu. I think it's not proper to speak to your husband in this way, saying that my husband is an old man. Even though it's a fact, he's 99 years old, but that's not how a righteous person talks. Okay? You can say my husband cannot have kids, but saying my husband is old, it's not proper for Sarah to say. Now I thought it's just me asking this question. I saw that a lot of rabbis ask that also in their books. They are bothered with this question. Sarah, it's not matim. It's not.
Normal. Doesn't make sense. There's no reason.
It's not Saraish. Sarah is yeah. Sarah is if you look at what she is, that's not a behavior, especially not to your husband. And saying it to God. So, why did she say that? Why did she kind of put down her husband? Saying he's old. That God needed to change it. To say that, she said about herself that she's old, so Abraham doesn't get offended. It means God realized that she said something not good. How come she did it? Any ideas? Okay, this is the question that we're going to see today. To understand this question, to understand the answer, we have to bring a paragraph from the Talmud in Masechet Archim. It's one of the small Masechtot, in page 19. And then the Talmud is discussing about slaves. Back in the days, people used to go to the market. They would buy different things for the house. They could also buy slaves. That was very normal back in the days, even in the times of the Talmud. Even in America, for not long ago, that was the reality. Now, the Torah was talking about this reality. And the Talmud says that, talks about back in their days, what was the rates of the slaves. So they say a young man as a slave used to cost 50 shekels. Now, shekel is not the shekels that we have today. Obviously, shekel is like silver amount. And it's a lot more than what we understand today as shekel. 50 shekels was the rate for a young man slave. An old man slave, the rate is 15 shekels. A lot more cheaper. Like a lot. 35 shekels. Means you can buy how many? 4 old slaves in 3, no, 45, right? You can buy 3 old slaves in the same amount of a one young, and you have a little bit also left,
Change.
right? You have change. So it's a big change. While shifcha is a
Maid servant.
maid
Slave.
servant, huh?
Yeah.
A lady slave. A maid servant, child means young. She costs 30 shekels, more cheap. However, when she's old, she costs 20 shekels. So she goes down only by 10 when he goes down by 35. Now, why she is less from the beginning? Because a man, you can use him for more work. The guy can, put things more heavy. He can, do things outside that usually ladies are not doing. So it costs more. He can be more of a slave. But the interesting part, the Gemara say that, look what differences. An old man costs 15 shekels, while an old woman, young one, costs 30. An old woman goes down only by 10, she costs 20. Some opinions is 10, some opinions is 20, but still, it's not. If we compare the two, lady in the market goes down in a very little, they keep their
Value.
They keep their value. Why is that? The Gemara asks this question. So the Gemara answers something very, very deep and interesting in the psychology and the abilities of men and women. The Gemara says that old men in the house, it's a burden. While old women in the house, it's a treasure. That's what the Gemara says. Why? Because most of old men, they cannot function normally. They are not useful when they're old. When he is young, he is super useful, more than a lady even. He has powers, he can do a lot as a slave. But when he's old, you're gonna suffer from it. And by the way, you can see it in your families. I saw it in my family. Both of my grandmothers and grandfathers, okay, when they got old, the grandmother took care of the grandfather. She was mamash, doing things, taking care of everything, cooking, cleaning, going out, He was like, he's old. Now, you would say, okay, because usually the man is older than the woman. No, my grandmother, she was 8 years older than my grandfather. She passed away after him, and she was taking care of him. And usually, if you look, again, of course there is exceptions, but I'm talking about the big picture. Most people, this is how reality is. Old man is a burden, you have to take care of him. And old woman is a treasure, she helps you also with the kids and everything else. So the value of an old woman stays high because she's useful. She has powers when she's old. While the man, not so much. But when they're young, the man gives more. So, okay, this is slaves, okay? From those slaves, we learn also to our life. Now, how does it has to do with our question? Now look what the Ben Ish Chai say. Ben Ish Chai say, Sarah, when God asked her, he told her, Sarah, I'm going to make you younger. You're going to have a child. You're going to be like you used to be. You're going to be young. She's laughing and she's saying, I am going to be young and my husband is old. Now you can understand it as I will be young and my husband, I will be young, but my husband is old. How can I have children? He's old. This is one way. This is how we understood. But look now how you can look at the same sentence, just put the question mark in a different place. I will be young and my husband will stay old. This is not logical, she says. She says, according to what we now learned in Gemara, old lady is okay, she still keeps her powers. But an old man, forget about it, it's a burden. She says, God, if you want to make a miracle and make someone young, it's not me. Okay, give me the ability to have a child, but I don't need the miracle to be young. Make him young. For him it's needed more because old man is lower than an old woman. That's what Sarah meant. So now we understand, so she was good. She was actually a good wife. She was not putting him down. She was actually asking for him, giving the miracle that was supposed to happen to her. Sacrifice it for him. That's what the Ben Ish Chai said. Beautiful?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, how does it what it has to do with the difference between men and women? So first of all, this story, this explanation already gave us a proof that men and women are not equal. When they're young and we are different. Something that Canadians has a very big problem with, especially liberals. We are different. We have different powers, we have different psychology, we have different organs, we have a different brain. And it's okay. We have a difference. We are not equal. What a man can do, women cannot do, and what a woman can do, men cannot do. The Gemara says that. For good or for bad. Sometimes the woman is stronger than the man when she's old. Sometimes the man is stronger than women. And first of all, it's okay to say it. This is what reality is. Now, after us knowing and understanding that there is difference between men and women, why is it so important to say that there is a difference between men and women? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very for being like equal and equal. It's important. By the way, Mashiach is gonna make the world very equal place. All those what we have today, status, they're gonna equalize in the times of Mashiach. But now it's not the time yet. Look at Judaism. Judaism has a lot of status. Kohen has a different status. Levi has a different status. Firstborn has a different status. Mother and father has a different status than a child. Now you cannot equalize. It's not times of Mashiach. And if you do that, it's a wrong. When Mashiach will come, he will teach us how to equal. Proper way. Now we have to understand there is differences. Okay. How does it help me? I'll tell you how. When I saw this explanation, I thought a little bit deep. I went into this new insight and I understood something very, very powerful. I think that this is the root of most arguments between men and women. The root of most conflicts and problems between husband and a wife, between men and women, is that we don't understand or accept the idea that we are different. And it's okay to be different. I'll give you a few examples. Let's take the example that we spoke about. Let's take the old lady, that her value is a lot more than an old man. This old lady, she's 75 years old, and let's say her husband is also 75 years old. According to what we learned, she's more productive. He's less. The guy is watching TV, You know, Shoshana, can you give me this? Thank you. She cannot tell him, okay, listen, we have to, the light bulb, we have to, I can't. Call the, at the end she does it by herself. So, he is now same age, but because we said, and by the way, I have to say that, there is a deep reason, Kabbalistic reason, why is it like this? The Ben Ish Chai brings from the Zohar Kadosh a rule in spiritual physics. And he says that ladies came from the world of judgment. Men came from the world, the spiritual world. Our souls came from the world of kindness. Two different types of world. The world of kindness is the world of expanding, doing. The world of judgment is the world of putting boundaries. That's why women are more into boundaries than men. That's why in Ashkenazi wedding, I don't know if you saw the lady is
ties them up 7 times.
Yeah. Why does she do that? It's like, I'm your boundaries. No? I'm gonna tell you what's, don't get too much excited. You sama lo chomot. No. Sama chomot. She is, she said, I'm gonna protect you. Man usually is getting excited very, very fast. Someone comes with a deal, I don't know, a business, something. Listen, we're gonna make a lot of money. Yeah, let's do it. He go talk to his wife. She says, listen, but what about this? What about that? This is dangerous. And that. He's like, wow, really? He's getting excited. Why? Because he is expanding. Like, yes, let's control the world, She has more gvura, it's called. Yeah, judgment. Judgment, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Now, because she came from the world of judgment, in the beginning of her life, she experienced more judgment. Now, judgment also attracts the negative powers, and that's why she is weak in the beginning. Beginning of life, women more weak than men, and you see it. Also because of pregnancy, because of labor, they have all those hormones, they have less power, they are more tired. Usually, who complains at home? Usually. In the beginning of marriage, usually, again, there is exceptions, it's the woman. Why? She feels more frustrated, hard. Her life is more, and by the way, the Ismach Israel, one of the big Admurim, he says it's because of the curse of Adam and Chava. When God cursed Chava, he said he cursed her to a certain period. He told them, your curse is going to be pregnancy, period, all those things. You're going to suffer from that, but this ends in a certain time. After 50, 55, for sure, they have more nachat. While the husband, the curse that he got is like forever. To work hard. So we see that in the beginning, ladies are having more hard time, but at the end of their life, they're getting more experience, powerful, and more nachat, less din, less judgment. The man, says the Zohar, man has in the beginning a lot of power, a lot of kindness. He doesn't have a lot of judgments on him in the beginning of his life. That's why usually 20, 30, 40, he is the best. After 40, it starts to go down. What happened? Because now dinim, judgment, more on him. In the end of his life, he has dinim. Okay? This is according to Kabbalah. Now, let's take the scenario of this old lady, 75, and the man is also 75. She has power, she's productive, she's doing everything, and the guy is like, okay, I'm waiting for the end. She can make fun of him. She can really offend him by saying, "You are lazy. You're not productive. Look what I'm doing at home. Why can't you help? What can't you do?" And a lot of ladies would do that. They feel that they are good. Why can't you do that? Now, if she does it, she's basically creating arguments, creating problems, and whatever she says is true. We cannot argue with her. You're right. You are doing a lot, and the guy is lazy. He doesn't do as much as you. However, if you understand this concept that we spoke about today, that we have different nature. He is like this because now this is what God made. He doesn't do it by purpose. He just doesn't have the abilities and the powers that you have. So thinking that you are better than him now will be wrong. You need to understand him and understand that, okay, there's a Gemara that say that usually at the end of the life, the man is weaker. So I understand you. And I'm okay with that. Because that's nature. And same thing is vice versa. 25 years old, first baby at home. The lady is very, very weak. She's after labor. She's breastfeeding. Every hour she needs to give milk and produce more, and all our hormones is like getting crazy. And he's like, "Why are you sleeping all the time? Do the job. You're not doing the job. I'm doing everything here. Why are you complaining? Why you this?" He's right. He's doing more. He's capable to do more. If he would just understand, hello, the Gemara say that this is the nature right now. Don't take advantage of it. Marriage is to understand that there's someone different than me, and it's okay. And I accept him the way he is. And I'm not trying to tell him, be like me. He cannot be like you. Because you are now in the time of life that you're more strong. Sometimes one of the couple is depressed. The other one says, "I don't understand you. What's the problem? Go, do that." If you would just understand this concept, that God created us different, He gave us different abilities. Marriage is all about accept the other person and understand that he is different than me, and that's okay. I am a man, she is a woman. I am a woman, he is a man. And he is different. Now, I just gave you one difference. Let's go a little bit more into those examples. First of all, what I'm saying to you right now, of course it's from Torah, but it's also scientific. Science today proved in different universities in the world that there is a big difference between men and women. In the University of Chicago, they made a whole research from the 1980s already, till today. And they found out that the way we process information, men and women, is completely different. Now I'm giving a lecture. We have men and women. The way you process my words, it's totally different. I'll give you an example what they found out. The Torah said in different words. I'll tell you how after. But this is the research they made. They claim that men, when he hears information, he focuses on what's relevant to him. We call it in Hebrew tachlis. You know what's tachlis? What's the point? What's the thing? That's why for men to hear people that speak about like without a clear goal or point, it's going to be very, very hard for them to be in such a lecture. Like, speak to the point. While women, they enjoying even if there's no point. For them, there's a lot of different small points here and there that they can grab. They can go to those details that a man cannot focus on them. He doesn't want to. His brain doesn't let him. He needs to focus on the main thing. Women, she hears and she also see other things that are not relevant. She looks at even weird things that in the middle of the lecture, she will realize something and she will remember that. Why? They have more abilities to go into details. While man is more focusing on the main ideas. That's why, by the way, a lot of times our big rabbis, before a big decision, they would ask their wives what they think. Because they understand that they see things, small details that I don't see. They just have this, it's called in Hebrew, Bina Yetera Nitna Lanashim. God gave an extra Bina. Wisdom, it's not a wisdom, it's a understanding maybe, to women. They can pay attention to details that a man cannot. You know, you come to the house, if there is a small change in the house, most men would not recognize the change. Like maybe a flower from this side went to that side. He's not gonna recognize, because when he comes home, he looks at the big picture. The house is still standing. The food is there. Everybody is healthy. This is what he focuses when he comes home. Lady would look at she would see that there's a small, I don't know, spider there and the spider would bother, and she says, listen, the spiders in the house. He's like, where are spiders? He doesn't see them. Why? He doesn't care much about the details. Now, by the way, can cause, if we don't understand, can cause a lot of fights. I'll give you an example. You come home, your wife changed something. She put new earrings. She says, no, do you realize something new? No. He never looks at her earrings. He doesn't know what's the old ones even, how they look like. Now, she can get offended. You don't care about me? You don't look at what... For who I'm doing all this, it's only for you, and all this, And now, it's like, well, what did I do? Now, this mistake is coming from where? It's coming from the idea that she and he doesn't understand that you are different people. If she will understand, okay, men don't focus on details. That's their normal nature. So if he didn't realize something, he didn't see the spider. He didn't see that you changed something in the bedroom or in the earrings. That's totally fine. Because that's his nature, and you need to understand this is his nature. Same thing is men. Yeah? The opposite. There's certain things that he thinks about and she doesn't. He's more focused on men ideas. They went together to the lecture. He got the point, but she was not she was getting all the other small points. And they can argue about it only because they don't understand that, hello, you are different and it's fine to be different. Understand that she is different and accept it this way. Don't argue with her to be like you, and don't argue with him to be like you also. That's the point. Now we have also different physically. We are different physically. For example, women have more gentle face, right? It's more clear, gentle, nice. Men, their face usually is more rough, not as clean, not as gentle, bigger most of the times. Women are more small. Also the feet, you see, the man has like feet sometimes like a duck. Women always, you're not gonna see a woman with a huge, usually it doesn't happen. Go to the shoe store, you will see. You're not gonna see most likely, I don't know, Canadian, but European, 44, 45, 46 ladies' shoes. Very rare. There are maybe basketball players. But men, most of them are like, we are different in our body. God created us like this. The shoulders are different. The face is different. Man is more big. Man is more rough. Less gentle. Lady is more gentle. What does it mean? We say panim milshon pnim. Panim is face. The word panim is also similar, basically same letters as the word pnim. Pnim is inside in Hebrew. It means that your face tells you what you have inside. If your face is very, very gentle, it means that you're also very, very sensitive. Ladies more sensitive than men. A man, if his friend makes a joke and tell him, hey, where's your hair? He's like, he's going to tell him something back and everything is okay and he will continue. A woman, if she will get such a... You're bold a little bit here. Shem Yishmor, she's going to be in quarantine. I don't want to come out until I fix it, Why is it like this? She's more sensitive. Now, this is also, we have to understand, this is a lot of arguments coming because we don't understand this concept. A man thinks she's like me, so I can make jokes. But he doesn't say, no, she's more gentle, she's sensitive, she takes it serious. She takes it serious. You tell her something about her, the way she looks like, and if it's even a little bit offending, that's it. She's going to be very, very upset. And he doesn't understand. Why you're so sensitive? What happened? I just said, I'm just joking. We can't be like, He doesn't understand. You live with someone different than you. The other side also. She has to understand, okay, he's a man. He's not sensitive. That's what he is. I shouldn't take seriously every word he says. Now, if you both understand it, you'll have perfect marriage. Perfect life. Because you understand, okay, he said it because he is man. That's how men behave. And it's fine. I don't want him to be a woman. Let him stay man. Men do those type of things. Now, for that we have to understand, this is why this class is very important. For that we have to understand what is men and what is women. What's the psychology? What's the behavior? The character traits that most men has or most women, and there is this difference, as we saw today. When we understand that, the difference, we can understand the person that we live in and accept it and live with it and to not get offended and to not be sad because of that and be okay with this. This is what he is and it's fine. It means he's normal. She's okay, she's normal. So this is another, by the way, also in, as we said, physical things, we have differences. For example, did you know that men usually feels more hot and women usually feels more cold by nature? Men, this is statistics. In the same temperature, men will feel more hot usually, and women will feel more cold usually. Again, there is exceptions, but as a general rule, the scientific reason for that is, I'll try to say it in English, the exchange of the system, the blood, the food, the circulation, scientifically, okay, khiluf khomarim, we say in Hebrew, in men is a lot faster than in women. And because of that fast circulation of blood and everything, he feels more hot. Because when you have more movement, it's more hot. In women, it's a little bit more quiet by nature. That's why she feels cold, usually. Now, a lot of time people argue because of that. It's too hot in the house. Open the window. No, it's too cold for me. What do? What's the solution? So you have the technical solution. You put a sweater, or you put an air conditioner, I don't know, a fan or something. But that's not the real solution. We have to get along. What's the real solution? If she understands, okay, first of all, my husband is normal. That's science. That's nature. And it means that he's a good man. He's a healthy man. And she's a healthy woman. So just learn how to take your jacket and put it on her. That's it. Means understand that there's someone different than you. Accept it. Don't fight with it. She doesn't need to feel like you. You doesn't need to feel like her. Just understand the differences. You know, I think a few years ago, maybe a year ago, I had a very, very big argument with my wife about halachic question. Like this argument was start from halakha, from Torah, and it went really like I took one side, she took one side, and it became very personal already. Now then, Baruch Hashem, somehow we came to a conclusion that, and we didn't know this phrase, what I'm going to tell you right now before. We came ourselves to that conclusion, and we said, you know what? Let's agree that we disagree. And when we said that, it was so nice. We agree that it's okay to disagree about it. You stay with your opinion, I'll stay with my opinion, and let's live with that peacefully. Understanding that we're different and we think differently, there's nothing wrong about it. And from that moment, we just found a new solution to a lot of, things that we don't agree. And then we say, okay, it's fine. So let's agree that we disagree. And this is the conclusion that we need to come to understand that we're different, and let's agree that it's okay to have a different person beside me. He doesn't need to change. She doesn't need to change. That's her nature. Now, in certain things, Yeah, the other spouse does something wrong, really wrong. Okay? In this case, again, you have to accept him the way he is or she is. You can nicely ask, listen, if you can behave in a different way, at least beside me. I know it's your nature. I know you got used to this type of behavior, and I accept you. But please, if you can, try to make me satisfied. You can ask that from each other, but only in a condition that you actually also accept the nature of the other person, and you live peacefully with that, because this is what Hashem did. This is how God created your wife. This is how God created your husband. So this is physically. Also, by the way, men sweat more than women. This can bother sometimes. You're sweating so much. If you understand, okay, this is his nature. Why? Women, by science, go more to the washroom than men. Did you know that? Yeah. Sometimes, for a man, it can bother him. Every time we need to go, you need to go to the washroom. Now, what's the source of all this, all of the differences? The source of all the differences is the way we see ourselves as a person. Okay? Now, men and women has different, they look at themselves differently. Men's role in life is achievements, is goals, is to do things, to achieve them. That's men, usually most men roles in life. They want to succeed, means to have a goal and to make it. Women not necessarily care about this. Women, they are more social. Women care about sharing. Men in marriage feels I need to achieve things, to bring money to the house, to buy a house, to do this for my wife, for my kid. This is my goal. And if he does it, he feels he fulfilled his obligation. Women, from the other side, she feels she gets married or she lives because she wants to have a share with someone. She wants to share. She wants to communicate. She's more socialized. Now, where do we learn it from? From Adam and Chava. Adam, he was born alone. Right? There was nobody in the world. Chava, when she was born with already someone who was in the house, in the place. That's why she feels she needs someone else to share with. Man comes home from work, he doesn't want to share anything. He just wants everybody to leave him alone and give him his quiet and peace of mind. And if you don't give him his peace of mind, he gets mad at you. Women comes home, or she's at home, and she see her husband coming, or even when she wants to share. She wants to speak to someone to tell him everything that happened today. Now he doesn't have patience for that, like seriously. That's differences. It's the difference in the way we are. And God created it by purpose. My rabbi told me that a man in marriage needs to be like a bus. I told him, what do you mean? He says, bus, you know what a bus do? They have their the doors. Psh, 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 psh. He says, you have to be like a bus. She talks and you do. Psh, psh, psh. That's what he told me. I told him, can I just sit quiet and listen without the psh? She says, no, then she thinks you don't listen to her. You have to react.
If you're not listening.
Yeah. He says, why? Because he knew the psychology of women. She needs to share. If you don't give it to her, God forbid, she would want to share it with someone else. And by the way, that's unfortunately happening. It's not an excuse, of course, but unless, or she will be very, very angry. She's not satisfied with life because she was created to share, and she doesn't have the ability to do it with someone. That's why, by the way, psychologists make a lot of money today, because the husband doesn't do. They don't listen. Psychologists think that they heal people. The real reason why they are successful with healing people is because they actually listen to someone. And when someone has to share and he shares, he feels better. Especially women. That's the secret. So, if we understand that, and women understand that man needs to achieve things. That's why for men it's very important that his wife trusts him. She thinks he's a hero. She needs to show it to him. Because that's what he needs. He needs her to say, wow, kol hakavod, you did it well. I trust you. Do your way. You're the captain. That's what he needs. She, from the other side, she needs someone to communicate.